Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious, a freedom ride where we the people gather to build ourselves, our family, our community, and our nation. For the sound of America for progress has reached critical mass. Understanding that we must put aside our differences to focus on the greater good. This is a place of collaboration to rebuild and restore our nation. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious. Hello, and welcome to another week with Moments with Vivacious. I promise you, as excited as I always am, you're going to be tonight. Tonight we have in the house with us Dr. Lexi Branch, and we're talking about confidence. And of course, Dr. Branch has the Confidence University. She's going to tell us all about that tonight, because when we approach the things that we do and even our jobs, even in our homes, being parents and leaders in our community, when we approach everything we do in life with confidence, it can't fail. But tonight, here we go. Y'all ready? You have your boots on. Share. I hope y'all subscribed. Don't forget, make your comments tonight. Let your friends know, tune in. This is a very important night for all of our lives, no matter where we operate. And I just introduce you right now to Dr. Lexi Branch.
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
Vivacious.
We've been waiting for tonight. There's some things some of us have been wanting to do in life, getting started. I have one friend she's been getting started, and she just keep on okay, I'm just gonna go do this, because it takes courage, I'll say. But can you tell us about that? What is the difference, or is there a difference between courage and confidence?
That is an excellent question. So I wish I could give you a straightforward answer, but I'm going to have to kind of go around the rosy a little bit for you, okay? So confidence is belief in yourself and your abilities. So you know we're in the NBA playoffs right now, and one thing you often hear people say about an athlete is, "Oh, his confidence is at a real high level. She's shooting with exemplary confidence." Or when Serena Williams was on the court and she was doing her thing, it was like, "Oh, you can tell her confidence is high." It's belief in your own abilities. Now, the difference between courage and confidence is it takes courage to have confidence. It takes courage to silence all of the distractions, to silence all of the things that we have been taught, to silence all of the things that we have learned, to have confidence in your abilities. So to me, it takes courage to have confidence. At Confidence University, we talk about 3 C's. It's courage, commitment, and consistency. I say if you have those 3 C's, then you will have confidence.
So Dr.
Did that answer
Lexi,
your question?
yeah, it did. It put me on a mind to go deeper, and I'm sure it did our audience too. Okay, we waiting.
Okay.
We're waiting because it was a question for me: courage, confidence. Because I knew courage was confidence, but I knew courage wasn't confidence. So that gave me a clearer picture for that. So
Yes.
I want to talk about how how I was talking earlier about a young lady I know who's always talking about a strong woman. Everything that she
Okay.
speaks of a strong woman to be, she's none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Any little thing
Okay.
in life, and I'm gonna say any little thing, of course it's not any little thing in life, but some of the things in life, um, if everything is not going wonderful, I'll say, I just watch her fall apart. And I'm like, girl, but I wouldn't dare say, girl, look, you are not a strong woman, because I wouldn't want to break her off because she's broken off so much and don't realize it.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking that how much of ourselves do we have to have a grip of before we could even think about being confident? Can we talk about us, who we are, who we know ourselves to be, and how do we
Mhm.
move or the avenue that we should take to get that confidence?
Look, I love that. That's what I talk about every day. First of all, many of us are walking around being a conglomeration of what other people need us to be, what our parents need us to be, what our spouses need us to be, what our employers need us to be, what our children need us to be. And oftentimes we don't really know who we are. Self-discovery is the greatest discovery known to mankind. Not what's on the moon, not what's in outer space, but self-discovery is the greatest discovery known to mankind. And oftentimes, many of us don't really know who we are. We don't know what we really like. We don't know what really makes us tick. And so in order to be at your highest self, the highest expression of yourself, you must know who you are. You must understand your purpose for being here on this earth. And then when you understand who you are, then you can walk unapologetically in it. Many times we are afraid to be unapologetically us. We're afraid that we'll be judged by other people. We're afraid that we will fail. We're afraid of so many things. So we're not walking in our true highest expression of ourselves. So when I say it takes you understanding who you are in order to be confident, because things in life will come to shake you. The vicissitudes of life will come to shake you. You know, it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. And when you understand who you are and the power and authority that you have as a co-creator with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, if you're a Christian, or some people say creator, when you understand that we are co-creators, that the creator, that God created us in his image, in his likeness. And if you're a Christian, it says that these things that I do, greater things than this shall you do. So when you understand who you are and the power and authority that you have, you will understand that you can have anything that you believe that you can have and believe that you can do. But one of the things that really keeps us in a stuck place, because I often hear people saying they're stuck. But what keeps us in a stuck place is because we really don't understand or believe that we're worthy. We don't believe that we're enough. We believe that that's for somebody else, but that's not really for me. So if you don't understand your worth and understand that you're worthy of it right now, just as you are, then you cannot have confidence in yourself. You cannot have confidence in yourself. And what I would say is a strong person, whether it's a man or a woman, is one who knows who they are, knows the power and authority that they operate in, and they walk unapologetically in it, in spite of what may come and what may go.
Well,
Self-discovery
sometimes
is the greatest discovery.
some of us are walking around, every day we say, oh, they've really misused the diagnosis PTSD.
Mhm.
So I'm going to kind of take it out of the medical content and
Yes.
just use it for another, for tonight's purpose.
Yes.
So many of us are walking around with the trauma of even childhood.
Absolutely.
Even adults are walking in the trauma of childhood, and which forces them into a facade.
Yes.
So often people say, well, girl, you know me. And I just look at them because I know you. I know what I see, but I don't think you know it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it, how do we discover it? How do we discover how what I want to say? How do we face the fact? When we come to the conclusion of, oh, today I'm this and tomorrow I'm that, and tomorrow I'm that, and I'm deciding that, because that's a big sign to me. You're lost. You're
Mm.
lost. So
Mm-hmm.
can we talk about that a little bit? Not from. I'm just trying to get a foundation of where, you know, we want to talk about. So we don't have to stick with what I'm saying.
Mhm.
We want everything out of you. So because there's somebody out there that may need to know, how do I get that confidence?
How do you get the confidence? Oh, yes, absolutely. So, one of the things that I truly believe in is that competence breeds confidence. Let me say that again. Competence leads to confidence. So, let me give you an example. So, we know that public speaking is one of the biggest fears that most human beings have. But in my time as a professor, because I really talk about who I am or what I do, but one of the things that I do is I have a PhD in business. That's the Dr. Lexi. I have a PhD in business, and I teach business students both at the undergraduate and the graduate level, principles of business, but I also teach communications. I have a class in Confidence University called Fearless Speaking. And one of the things that people are so afraid of is standing in front of people and speaking. But the more that you do it, the more confident you become, right? So you're a nurse, right, by trade. When you first got out of school, you probably didn't have that much confidence. But over the years, the more you did it, the more confident you became in your abilities, right? Do you agree?
Absolutely, yes.
So the more you learn, the more you practice, the more you actually walk in it, then the more confident you become in a skill set, whether that's speaking, whether that's your profession, whether it's whatever it is. The more you do it, the more confident you become, because the more competence, the more knowledge that you are gaining. With more experience, you get more confidence. So Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all times, said that he used to shoot 500 shots a day. Do you know how many days? And it took him 10 years in the NBA before he actually reached that level where he passed the previous greatest shooter of all time, which is Ray Allen. But he had to shoot 500 shots a day. And the more shots he took, the more lethal he became. The more shots he took, the more shots he made. And so that's what I want to tell people. If you're listening tonight, competence breeds confidence. The more you do it, the more confident you become in your abilities. Remember, the definition of confidence is belief and trust in one's own abilities. So, again, that's one area. Competence breeds confidence. Another thing, remember, I talked about those 3 C's: courage, commitment, and consistency. So it takes courage to step outside of your comfort zone, right? How do you gain confidence? The first thing is you got to step outside your comfort zone. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. If you want something that you've never done, you got to do something that you never did. So the way that you gain this confidence, that you build the confidence, is have the courage to step outside of your comfort zone. Because everything that you want, everything that you desire is outside of your comfort zone. So now let's talk about the second C. First one is courage. The next one is commitment. You build your courage by being committed to it, saying, I don't care hell or high water what comes. I'm committed to this. I set a goal that I'm going to lose 10 pounds, and I don't care what happens. I'm not going to let any excuse. I'm not going to let any person. I'm not going to let any distraction. I'm not going to let any temporary setback keep me from achieving my goal. It takes commitment. And can I tell you something? When you get ready to go and try to do something that you've never done, your subconscious mind will try to keep you in a place of comfort and tell you to come on back here. Come on back here where it's safe. Come on back here with Steph. You don't need to do all of that. But if you're committed, you're going to ignore that and you're going to keep pressing. And that last C that I want to talk about, my goodness, is consistency. See, listen, motivation gets you going, but it's consistency that keeps you growing. Being persistent is going to add up over time, but consistency compounds. Consistency compounds. The more you do something, it says it takes 21 days to form a habit. The more consistent you are with something, then the more you will grow. That's how you build confidence, courage, commitment, and consistency. That's a little bit of it.
Okay. I think I want to stop and say, you can listen to this as many times as you want. But if you're anything like me, you may want to be writing some of this down. Because when I write it, it's almost like I'm writing in my mind.
Yes.
And I have one young lady in mind, Dr. Lexi, that was sure to be listening tonight.
Yes.
She wouldn't even have the courage to say, I'm in. And I wouldn't say her name because it's the pain. How, it's the pain. I'll have to you come back to talk about, this. It's the pain of her past that makes her think she's not good enough. And if I'm gonna be open about anybody, I want to be open about myself. After Mom died, we were there with Dad. Dad was an older man that, my mom was a younger woman, but she died young and left Dad with us kids. And so I was just there going day by day, getting ideas how to help me and my brother. My brother and I raised them. So all I could ever think was Mom coming back. Mom was going to come back. But this is not about that. So I'm going to stay right here. So I was a beautiful child. Now, my Uncle Melvin, before he died, he used to always call me Pretty Black and bought me a red dress and told me I can do anything. And I told my mom I wanted to be a superstar. So she said, you could do anything, right? But and I was in my late teens, when I really started walking and learning and walking in who I was. But everybody, it was a facade. Everybody, especially the young girls, they all looked up to me. I was a mess. Good thing they didn't know the real me. You know what I'm saying? I was a mess. I had none of that. It was a facade. The person that I put out there wasn't at all that broken person that was inside of me. I could not complete anything. I don't know if you can. Is there any way we could talk about how do you begin to connect with who you are and your self-worth? I think that's what I'm asking. This is a little deep. It's a little widespread. It's not.
Absolutely. Self-worth, it's so funny because what you described is what many people are walking around with. And I call it a PTSD, not from a clinical perspective, but I call it a PTSD because many of us are walking around in a daze. Many of us are walking around with a mask, right? Many of us are doing that. And a lot of it is what you said earlier. It goes all the way back to childhood trauma that has not been processed, that has not been dealt with, that we have not been able to heal from. And so one of the things is we get a vision of our worth at a very early age in our childhood. And many of us were taught, stop doing that, don't do that. Think about a child and how bold they are, how confident they are when they're little, when they're at home, and then when they go to school and they tell them sit down, all those type of things, then we crush their confidence and their self-worth. And so what has happened is over time, we have begun to believe the lies because we know that the truth, the Bible says that you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. Well, the truth is we were made in God's image. We were made in his likeness, and he gave us the power to dominate. But the lie is that we're not worthy. The lie is we're not enough. The lie is that we are what happened to us. You're not what happened to you. You're not a divorcee. That's what happened to you. That's not who you are. So a part of that self-discovery is unlearning the lies that we have been taught as children. Unlearning the lies that we have been taught in institutions like schools and colleges and the workplace. Unlearning the lies of limits. There is no limit. The only limit we have is ourself. We are co-creators in our reality. We can have anything that we desire. We are truly limitless beings. And when we understand that, then we can walk in who we are. But as we continue to believe the lies that we're not worthy, that we're not enough, that we'll never be able to accomplish that, so many things have happened to me that, I'll be lucky just to be alive. When we learn to reframe those things into something positive, that gives a good segue to what I want to talk about. One of the principles in my book that's called She Has Confidence, it'll be released on June the 18th, which is my birthday. It's called She Has Confidence. It's a 21-day confidence journal. There are 21 days in this book. And for each day, there's a principle, there's a scripture, there's a prayer, there's an affirmation, and there's an action item for 21 days. Why did I choose 21? You do something for 21 days and it becomes a habit. So I chose 21 days. And one of those principles in that book is called silencing the inner critic. You know what the inner critic is? You ever heard of the inner critic?
No.
That girl that's inside of your head, that when you get ready to do something, she tell you that you can't do it. The one that tells you, girl, you're going to sound so silly if you say that. The one that said, why would you do that? Who's expecting you to do that? It's that negative voice inside of your head that underappreciates your accomplishments and over-exaggerates negative consequences, that tells you that you can't. Do you know what I'm talking about now? You know what I'm talking about now?
Yes.
Because we all have it, right? We all have it. So this is one of the things that I teach in Confidence University during our 2-day challenge. I teach you to, number one, identify when you hear the voice, because we all hear it at times. We all hear it, right?
Yes.
Whether it's you can't do this, or you're trying to do too much, or you're so dumb, you should have known better than that, whatever. She tells you that. I know she has. She does it to me. One thing I tell you is name the inner critic. My inner critic, I name her Bessie because she messy. So Messy Bessie is what I call her. So when she starts talking crazy, I say, listen up here, Messy Bessie. Sit down and shut up. So if she tells me, oh, you should have known better than that. You should have known that you weren't going to make enough money doing that. First of all, I reframe whatever she's saying with a positive affirmation. One of my positive affirmations is, I am the architect of my destiny, and I don't experience losses, I experience lessons. I don't think you heard me. I'm the architect of my destiny. Yes. I create whatever I want to be my reality. And if I happen to experience a loss, because we all experience loss, I don't look at it as a loss, I look at it as a lesson. So what does that do for me? It takes something negative, it reframes it in something positive, and it shuts Messy Bessie's mouth up.
Yes.
You understand? It's all about how you look at it, because that's why I say that confidence is not a destination. It is a journey, because I can be confident in this business and then something can come and knock me off and make me have a loss. And it's not about how many times I get knocked down. Like Cardi B says, I get knocked down 9 times, but I get up 10. It's not about what happens. It's about how you respond. Resilience is one of the components in the 21-day confidence journal, because it's inevitable that we will experience a setback. It's inevitable that we will experience sickness. It's inevitable that we will experience grief, but it's not about what happens. It's about how you respond.
Now, before we go on, because I don't want to forget, can you tell everyone where they'll be able to get this journal?
Absolutely.
I don't want to go on and then we forget, and then because people need this. This is why we're here. This is the purpose of Moments with Vivacious, to build life.
Yes.
So can we do that before we go on?
Absolutely. You'll be able to get it on Amazon. You'll be able to get it on Amazon. So it's really easy to get. You'll be able to get the digital copy, or you'll be able to get a hard copy. The hard copy is beautiful. It's pink. It says She Has Confidence. It's gorgeous. It's a reflection of me, because that's who I am. I'm bold. I'm beautiful. I'm confident. And that's what I want to exude in this journal. You can get it on Amazon. It will be available on my birthday, which is June the 18th. That is the release date. That's the date that God allowed me to come to this earth. And so that's the date it will be released. It's 21 days, y'all. And when I say it's more than just a journal, it is really a companion. It is a guide. In 21 days, I promise you that you will have unshakable confidence. You will have a foundation for unshakable confidence. So yes, that's what you can get. It's going to be available on Amazon.
Okay, and I'm gonna be sure to share on my when it gets to be like June 15th. I'm gonna
Okay,
share.
no problem. Yes.
So, okay, we have. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. So if you could read that comment.
Yes. It's from Keisha Jackson Riley. She says, I personally instill all of these beautiful values in my children. Thank you so much for doing that, Keisha. Yet deal with these stifling insecurities daily at work as I aspire for management. Okay. I freeze when communicating in management circles. This is something I hear common. First of all, congratulations for instilling that in your children. But I need you to understand that you are the best example for your children. This is one thing that I believe and I aspire in. They can't be what they can't see. That's why I try to be an example for all people that look like me, for all little girls, for all people without a voice. Now, I can tell you that what you're dealing with is something that many people deal with. This is not uncommon. Many people deal with an inability to communicate effectively. Now, this is one of the things that I tell people about this. I said this earlier. Number one, you have to practice doing it. You must practice doing it. So even if you're not doing it actually at work, when you're at home, create an environment and you practice doing it, because again, competence and practice breeds confidence. Now, the other thing is I need you to understand this. Obviously, you have a skill set that you want to take to the next level. You have to ask yourself, do I have the skills? Is it just that I'm lacking skills, or is it that I just don't have the skill to communicate? That's the number one question. Do you have the skills to go to the next level? You need to do an assessment. Self-assessment is one of the components of the journal as well. We must take a self-assessment of our skills, our strengths, and our weaknesses, and then be able to devise a plan to take ourselves to the next level. See what I'm talking about? This is a companion. I'm telling you, it's the bomb. So you got to do a skills assessment. Say, do I have what it takes to go to the next level? Now, if you have all the skills and all you need is the communication piece, you have to find you a coach or a mentor to help you with the communication piece. Communication is not just standing up in front of people. It's the emails that you send. It's the communication that you have in the office when you're talking to your coworkers. It's the response that you give to your boss or your other managers. All of these things are communicating things about you and your abilities. How do you function with your team members? How do you perform when you're on teams at work, right? So again, what's going to help you is you're going to have to find you a program where you can actually practice the things that we're talking about. Practice standing up in front of people and conferring a message. One of the things I have to tell people, when you're doing public speaking, the one thing I want people to remember, it's not about you. I don't think you heard me. It's not about you, Keisha. It's about the information that you have and the value that you're bringing to your target audience. What that inner critic that I talked about, that I just told Vivacious about, that inner critic would tell you people going to laugh at you. You're going to stumble over your words. You're going to get up there and forget everything that you wanted to say. You silence that inner critic and you speak a positive affirmation. I am bold. I am prepared. I am made to do this. I am valuable. They want to hear what I have to say. If somebody asks you to come and speak, obviously they want to hear what you have to say. Most of the time when you're speaking, you're the expert. In the management circles, again, you want to make sure that you're confident in your abilities. Like if you know something and they ask you a question, respond with confidence. You know what I'm saying? Use your voice. Stand up straight. Sit up straight. If you're at a boardroom, sit up straight. Let your voice be heard. Listen, posture has a lot to do with how you breathe, how you carry yourself. All of these things. That's why I say it's so important. I encourage you to look into my fearless speaking class at Confidence University, because I have a class that's 5 weeks. And what we do is we attack all of these myths about speaking. We give you an opportunity to do a couple of different speeches. And at the end, you'll do your final speech in front of a big audience. So again, competence breeds confidence. You need somebody who's gifted or trained in this area to help you, and you'll be right on your way. And it's just when you take one step, then you take the next step, then you take the next step and the next step. But communication is not just verbal. It's written and it's body language as well. But I want you to know this: you have everything that you need on the inside of you to achieve any goal that you put in life. You must be in this and other thing, and this is for anybody that's dealing with confidence, right? You need to be in a growth environment. And what is a growth environment? It's an environment where growth is celebrated and appreciated. It's an environment that pushes you. It's an environment that affirms you. How many times are we in environments where people tell you what you can't do, tell you you're trying to do too much? If your environment is not affirming you, baby, that is not a circle. It's a cage, and you need to get out. But you have everything that you need on the inside of you. The question is, are you willing to invest in yourself so that you can change your future outlook? That's the real question, because information alone is not enough. It's action. The difference between dreams and reality is action. Will you take action to improve? Will you take action to invest in yourself? Will you take action to level up in your skill set? And I can tell you this: you are worth it. You spend money, time, and everything on your children, on your family. God has just given me this. You're the type of person that gives to everybody, but this is the time that you need to give to yourself. Invest in yourself, because when you do that, you're able to walk in your purpose, and you're going to positively affect everybody that's attached to you.
That's awesome. And I just want to say one thing while we're on this subject.
Yes.
In the medical field, and being a nurse, nurses, we will eat each other alive.
What you mean?
You might have your friend who's with you. Like, say, I'm gonna move up the ladder.
Gotcha.
It is very difficult.
Cutthroat.
It is very difficult to stand. I don't know how I want to say this. And but for that one friend who's encouraging you and pushing you, you got 15 people eating your back alive.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it may be hard. It may be hard to believe, but it's real. It is the way it is. We kill ourselves. We kill our own every day. So when you're in an environment where, like, the institution might say, yeah, we want to grow from within, but those people you're working with, it may end up being supervising, is eating you alive. You just ate somebody else up, and you got that position. Now everybody eating you up. How give us a little bit of power for that. You're welcome, Keisha.
So that's one of the reasons I left corporate America, because I just got tired of the cutthroat. I got tired of the backstabbing. I got tired of not being enough, for them. So I left corporate America. But the advice that I would give someone is, you want to be with a company that appreciates and celebrates you as well. And one thing I need to tell you is that I know that you're working for a company, but I guarantee you there's another company that's just like it. And if they don't appreciate you there or won't celebrate, this is what I found in a lot of situations, is that people have been with an organization for a long time and they haven't been able to get promoted the way that they feel like they should have. But they're still just something. The question to you tonight is, have you ever thought about seeking that opportunity somewhere else? Have you ever thought about moving your talent somewhere else where somebody else will appreciate you? You have to think about that, because you got to understand that you're worthy of the promotion, and it's not your fault that they keep overlooking you, but it is your responsibility to take control of your destiny. And sometimes that means changing your environment. Again, if you're not in an environment that's affirming you, if you're in an environment where you're seeing growth and you're seeing where people are being celebrated and you're excited, because a growth environment, you're excited when somebody else does well. You're excited when somebody gets promoted. You're excited because you know why you're excited? Because you're like, hey, I can be next. But if you're in an environment where it's cutthroat, you're in an environment where whatever you do is not enough, it's time to change it. And you must have the courage to move outside your comfort zone. Because see, your comfort zone is what you know. Maybe you just go do something different at a different place. Does that resonate with anybody?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
When I was in that very situation, I didn't move. I was stuck, but God moved me. And all I can say today is thank you, Lord. He moved me to a better place. Yeah.
But you just have to be willing to take control of your destiny. A lot of times we're stuck, but we're stuck because we're in our own way. We're in our own way. We're saying, I'm waiting on God, but God is actually waiting on you to walk in the power and authority that he gave you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. So when we in that, I just, this person just keep coming before my mind. Okay. When we're in that situation, I don't know what the situation is, and I don't know what the PTSD is. I don't know how to put it in words, but I just watch people's lives. Mm-hmm. And this one person that's just a little sweet doll to me. Mm-hmm. At home, I just overhear the young people talking. I don't get in their conversations. It's like when you're in a relationship. Yeah. Whatever that weak part of you is, that part, mm-hmm. that confidence that you're lacking, that person at home overpowers who you are, and it's like you're just living miserable, and it makes it hard to move. Yep. How do we find ourselves in that situation and move into a place of confidence? That's like the whole opposite side of the world.
Yes, absolutely. So that goes back to self-worth, Vivacious, because you have to understand that you deserve better than that. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be fearless. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to feel alive. Until you understand that you are worthy, you will continue to be stuck. You will continue to stay in places that are gravitating at a low level. That's why the ceiling of your capabilities is really at your self-worth, because you will not rise to the level of your aspirations. You will remain stuck to where you feel you're worthy of. And oftentimes we think, we'll say one thing, I'm a strong Black woman, or nobody gonna get over on me, but we still find ourselves settling in these relationships that we know are not serving us. We must choose love and let go of everything that does not serve you. When you do that, then you can move in confidence, but not before then. First of all, you got to be grateful. You got to be grateful. Gratitude to me is the magnet for manifesting something, right? So the thing about it is, like when people are in they're in between relationships, I should say, and they say, well, I don't want a man that's abusive, and I don't want a man who's controlling, I don't want a man who broke, and I don't want a man who this, and I don't want a man that. Whatever you focus on is what you get. I need you to understand that. Whatever you focus on, that is what you're going to get. That's what you're going to attract. So people don't understand why I keep attracting these same kind of people, because that's who you are. Remember, we talked about the childhood trauma, unhealed trauma. If you're unhealed and you're toxic, you're going to keep attracting unhealed, toxic people. It's a known fact. Research shows it. But when you begin to work on your own healing, you begin to release everything that does not serve you. Release, and this is the other thing. We get so codependent in relationships on the other person that we feel that if we don't have this person, we can't even keep living.
Come on
You
now.
understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
The only codependency we should have is with God. It's with our Creator. Nobody else, because we have everything on the inside of us that we need. And if God is telling you that this is not for you and that you need to let it go, he's not going to give you a vision without giving you the provision. If he gave you the vision, told you that this is that you deserve better than this and that you need to leave, you need to leave. Because God's not going to give you what you need before you step out on faith. See, that's the one thing I need to say this too. Confidence and faith go together. Confidence and faith go together. Because confidence is belief in yourself, but faith is belief in God. It's belief in God. Unwavering faith is belief in God. And God is not going to guide you and not provide. So what happens is, remember I talked about this earlier? Where we become what other people need us to be. So we just lost who we really are. So we go to work, we come home, we don't see nothing else besides home and work, nobody else besides those same people. What do you think you're going to get? That's not a growth environment. That's a stagnant environment. And not only are you going to be stuck, at some point you'll begin to even retreat even further back. Have you ever seen that? That somebody was one way and the longer they stayed in that situation, they got worse and worse?
Yes.
Because of the environment. Because of the environment. We must change our environments if we want change. If we want to get more confident, we got to be in environments where we send other confident people, where other confident people are pouring into us. Right?
Right.
Yeah, and we got to get rid of the stinking thinking, the limited beliefs. We got to get rid of it. We got to unlearn it. We have to unlearn it. Yeah.
So, I'm going to run out of time.
Okay.
Without talking about, because just hearing you talking, and I'm sure many people are motivated by this and they're hearing it. I think I hit on a lot of things that people are going through. So how would Confidence University, I went to one of your classes, you mentioned it a little earlier, but
the fearless speaking.
Yes. How do we move to a place where we understand? One thing, I know I'm more confident when I go out to speak or teach or whatever I'm doing. If I know, if when above everything else, I understand what I'm going to do. I understand my goals. This is what I want everybody to have.
Yes.
When I'm finished, I find that I'm moving. I'm unstoppable.
Yes.
But this, I don't want to end this conversation without what are you looking for to the people that's here, to the people that will look at it in the future. What are they accomplishing within themselves and for themselves when they hear this, and as well as when they get the journal and when they say I need to take some of these classes in Confident University. What is our goal? It's thinking with all the things that we've talked about in mind.
Yeah. Well, everybody's goal is different. But irregardless of the goal, confidence is absolutely essential. One of my taglines is, in my world, confidence is not an option. It's the game changer. It's the game changer. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's in the medical field, whether it's in athletics, whether it's in education. If you do not believe in yourself, you will not reach your fullest potential. It's just that simple. People that believe in themselves can have less knowledge, less education, less money, and achieve more just because they believe in themselves, because they bet on themselves, because they didn't doubt themselves. Confidence is absolutely essential. In the book, again, I talked about 21 different components of confidence. Started off with self-worth, then we talk about gratitude, we talk about the comfort zone, we talk about overcoming challenges, we talk about the 4 areas of confidence where confidence comes from. And I want to say this, I don't want to forget to say this. There are 4 main areas that your confidence is built upon. Number 1 is your mindset. That's number 1.
Yes.
Number 2 is your personal success stories. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I did this before, I got confidence that I can do it again because I did it before, right? The third thing is looking at the success of other people, right? So if Vivacious started her podcast, that means I can do it. If Oprah started off in Mississippi and she only had a college degree and she was making $20,000 a day, 22, now she's a billionaire, then that means that I can do it too. So watching the success stories of other people, right? And the 4th one is what we call verbal clues. That's motivational speeches. That's why we hire people to come in and be a motivational speaker. Or we turn on YouTube and listen to our motivational message. Or when you get ready to play basketball, you sing your chant, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, on 3, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So it's the verbal affirmations are ways that you get confidence. Those affirmations can also be those affirmations that we say every day. Whatever those affirmations are, and I encourage each one of you to develop your own list of affirmations that affirm you, that build you up, that keep you motivated to be confident in yourself. So those are the 4 areas that confidence actually comes from, right? Again, there's several components, but there are 3 areas where you can get 80% of the value of having confidence, which means that you'll be successful in every area of your life. If you're confident, you'll be a better leader. If you're confident, you'll be a better parent. If you're confident, your finances will be better. If you're confident, you're going to be a better spouse. If you're confident, you're a better communicator. You understand what I'm saying? Like every area of your life. If you're confident when you set a goal, whether it's around health, whether it's around fitness, whether it's around your goal, if you have confidence and belief in yourself, you're going to benefit. You're going to have high achievement in any area of your life. Even if it's, I want to be better in my marriage. If I'm confident in my abilities to do that, I'm going to do that, right? If I say I want to go to another level, have a closer relationship with God, if I'm confident in my abilities, whatever I put on paper and I say I'm going to do it, strategically, I'm going to accomplish it. You see all these areas where confidence is absolutely necessary. That's why I can confidently say that when you have confidence, it can impact every area of your life. But those 3 things that I really want to talk about, that if you master these, then you will be what's considered an expert in confidence. 3 areas. Okay. Mindset, getting rid of the stinking thinking, no more limiting beliefs. That's number 1. The second one is emotional intelligence. Oh my God. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is recognizing, understanding, and controlling your own feelings, as well as recognizing, understanding, and influencing the behavior of others. My God. Emotional intelligence is so important because when you have emotional intelligence, you learn to assess yourself and manage yourself instead of just acting. See, when you have emotional intelligence, you don't do erratic behavior because you think about what you do before you do it. You assess yourself. You say, you know what, this is a trigger for me. I'm not going to allow this to take me in another direction. You say, I manage my emotions, my feelings. I'm cognizant of the environment around me. When I walk into a room, I'm sizing up the room. I'm seeing who's in charge. I'm seeing who has influence. I'm looking at body language. I'm looking at facial expressions. I'm assessing the room. And then by doing that, I can influence behavior in a way that's positive to what my mission is, my desired end state is. So again, mindset, emotional intelligence, and communication. We talked about communication and how important communication is in this world. Warren Buffett, we know that's one of the greatest financial advisors in the world and one of the richest men in the world. He said if he would tell his kids that the one absolutely essential skill that you must have to be successful in life, he said, is public speaking. Why? Because when you can communicate, you can cause change. When you can communicate, you can transform your environment. You can transform people. But when you combine it with understanding that there are no limits except for the limits that you put on yourself, when you understand that emotional intelligence is a superpower, and then when you combine it with the ability to be able to communicate, I say that mindset plus emotional intelligence plus communications equals unstoppable. Period.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
unstoppable. If you can master those three things, there's nothing you can't do. That's confidence. That's confidence. Yeah. Yes.
I am so happy that you mentioned emotional control.
Mm-hmm.
Because so often, we have to say, when you are not in control of emotions, you're leaving your soul out there. You're leaving your soul out there for anything to come and control.
Yes.
Can we speak a little bit on the importance of controlling our emotions and yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things that emotional intelligence tells us is that you might be right in what you're saying, but the way you're saying it, the time that you're saying it, and the place that you're saying it could be absolutely wrong. See, we have to not be concerned so much about being right. When we have situations, there's two ways that you can react. You can react or you can respond. I'm going to say that again. You can react or you can respond. React means that I just do what I want to do. I do it based on how I feel at that time, based on my emotions. We are emotional beings. I'm not saying that, but we must control our emotions. Respond. When you see the word responsibility, it means the ability to respond properly. So when we stop reacting and start responding, then we can control what happens in our life. Yes. We can control what happens in our life.
Yes.
Because think about this. When you're on your job, you've been overlooked for promotions, or somebody may have done you wrong, and you want to go to your boss and tell them. It's several ways that you can go and address that. But and you could have been wrong. Somebody could have totally disrespected you. But it's about how you say it. It's about when you say it. And it's about how you actually frame it. That will determine the outcome. Now, of course, if somebody's just biased, that kind of stuff, you can't control that. But even if we think about relationships, whether it's you with your children or it's you with your significant other, have you ever been right about something but said it the wrong way? And then the person didn't even hear what you had to say because you were just emotional? We've all been there. We've all been there. But when you have emotional intelligence, you say, uh-oh, that's a trigger. Because, sometimes people will try to say stuff just to trigger you, to make you become emotional so that they don't have to deal with the actual situation at hand.
Absolutely.
So we must be intentional with emotional intelligence. We must be intentional. We have to say, you know what? That's why that whole self-assessment, knowing who you are, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, and improving upon those weaknesses, and continue to leverage your strengths, that's so important. Because when you know you have a weakness and somebody triggers you, then you can say, uh-oh, here goes my self-assessment piece right here. Okay, yep. Now, what my undelivered self would tell me to do would be to go off, but I'm not going to do that. Nope. I'm not going to do that.
Yes.
I'm not going to give you the pleasure of allowing me to have erratic behavior so that you can totally ignore what the true issue is. Oh, yeah. Emotional intelligence is powerful. It's a superpower. It really is. It really is.
Right. And it's the greatest defense to your soul. It's the greatest defense to your soul.
And it's an offense too. It's an offense too. It's a defense because it protects you. It's an offense if you learn how to actually implement it. If you learn how to walk in a room and size it up, you don't have to be on the defensive. You can be on the offensive. That's what they taught us in the military. The best army is not one that has a defensive posture. It's one that's always on the offense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you expound on that? This is powerful stuff. This is powerful stuff. Can you expound on that? You know, living in offense. How many of us really live in offense?
Right.
You know, this part right here, and that part is making us for a better tomorrow. Yes. I promise you, this is some good stuff. Can we talk a little bit more about living on offense?
Absolutely. So when I was in the military, I was in the Army for 9.5 years. I was a captain when I came out of the military, but I went in as enlisted. And one of the things they would teach us is perimeter defense, right? It was perimeter defense. So we didn't want the enemy to be able to get inside of our perimeter, kind of like us, right? We don't want the enemy to be able to get inside of our perimeter to penetrate our camp and cause dissension, cause death, cause destruction. So I look at life the same way. And what they told us is that we had to be on the offense. So even though we used to dig what we call foxholes, that's our fighting position, and we had each person would man the foxhole. You would have your battle buddies, what we call it. Somebody in the foxhole with you, battling there with you, got your back. You know what I'm saying? When they sleep and you got their back, and vice versa. But while we had this defensive posture to keep the enemy from penetrating, we were always on the offense. We had positions set up on hills. We had rocket launchers here. We had our grenade launchers back here. We were always on the offense and always looking for ways to actually defeat the enemy. So how I would relate that to what I do is always being in a growth mindset, always finding things to further improve yourself, always doing things to improve upon your weaknesses, always finding opportunities to connect with people that have things that you don't have, that you can benefit from them. That's what I mean about being on the offensive. Being on the offensive means having your vertical relationship with God in order. Being on the offensive means being prayed up and fasting. Being on the offensive means that I'm going to invest in myself. Being on the offense means I'm going to pour into my children. Being on the offense means whatever I can do to put in my arsenal so that I can keep the enemy from coming in my camp and wreaking havoc, and so that I can move in my purpose. Because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are mighty through God through the pulling down of strongholds, spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what we fight against. And so we must always be on the offense, girding ourselves up with the weapons that we need to be successful, to live out our purpose, our God-given purpose. That's so offensive to me.
Yes. Look, somebody just sent me a text number, said, girl, the only answer I have for you is go listen to tonight's show.
I know
this is good stuff, Dr. Lex.
Yes.
Oh God, how we appreciate you being here. Always there for me, and I want the world to know how I appreciate you.
Yes.
You are a diamond in my diamonds.
Thank you.
So I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. But before you leave, I want you to talk a little bit. You've given us lots. This is
Okay.
a lot. And you made our tomorrow better. But I want to talk a little bit about your university, your classes, and we know about the book, but mention it again. And I
Yes.
want everybody to know I'm gonna have the journal 3 days before it's released. I want to put it out in my social media. But
Thank you.
like it's awesome. I'm excited
Thank
about this. It's awesome.
you. Thank you. Well, again, I am Dr. Alexius Branch. I am the provost and founder of Confidence University. It's a transformational program for women and girls to actually engage their superpower confidence to unlock their fullest potential. Those of us that deal with confidence issues. And when I say confidence, it just doesn't mean somebody that's holding their head down or don't believe in themselves, but I'm talking about them too. As I talked about today, when you have confidence, you can achieve anything in your life. So, Confidence University, you can reach us to sign up for our programs at confidenceisasuperpower.com. Confidenceisasuperpower.com. You can go there. You can also follow me on social media at Dr. Lexi Realtor, DrLexyRealtor, or on Facebook at Branch Lexi. The book is being released on June 18th, which is my birthday. I'm excited about it. It's called She Has Confidence, a 21-day journal to unshakable confidence. And I want you to know this as I close. Whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon will inevitably come true. That was Paul J. Meyer. You got to imagine it. You got to desire it. You got to believe it. And you must act upon it. But when you do, it's going to come to pass. Thank you so much, Vivacious. It was amazing. It was an honor to be with you and your audience on tonight.
Thank you ever so much
Yes.
for blessing us with your presence and your life-changing word as usual.
Thank
And that's why I
you.
said the infamous Dr. Lexi.
Thank
Thank you so much. And
you.
I'm going to talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Kenzie.